Put that script down, now. Put the jokes down. Hands over the head, turn around. Crowder, do you want to get demonetized? Pay attention. Get down on your knees right now. Where'd he go? Guy did an Amy Schumer I Feel Pretty right off this dam. Right here. Really? Yeah. Boom.
I'm watching the New York Mets this summer, and they have a guy in the booth. He's going to donate $1,000 to a children's cancer hospital every time one of the Mets hits a home run. Cheap.
You know what? F it, I'll do it. My show will be Mug Club now.
Wow. Holy shit.
How about Dan for Bob Levy? More proof Hitler killed all the funny Jews.
I got this girl back to my apartment. She took her bra off. One of her nipples was off center by like 2 inches. So I said, where'd you get your Marshalls?
Andy Dick, pick a hole and stick with it.
Got a kid from the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Billy, what's your last wish? I don't know. Can we get a designated hitter in the National League? Don't build another Ronald McDonald House. Move the fences in at Citi Field, for sake. Look at me. Not dying.
Stevie Van Zandt issued a call to exterminate. That's Holocaust speak, by the way. Exterminate the Republican cockroaches. To that I say, here you go, Stevie. Hope that's not too strong for the first half of the show.
Oh, that is delicious. It is hot. I don't know how to gauge the heat of the drink before I go live on air.
You could take a sip before you go live.
It would seem like that's a simple solution, but I like to complicate things needlessly. So glad to be with you today. I know yesterday we did a little bit of a took a flyer, right, with the untold history of Muhammad Ali. Hope you enjoy it. Go and watch that. But today we have a lot to talk about. Dalai Lama's a pervert, surprise, the leader of an inconsequential religion. And I know some of you are saying that's offensive. What I mean to say by inconsequential, don't misunderstand me, is that Tibetan Buddhism doesn't matter. Elon Musk destroyed
Stuck the landing.
a reporter at the BBC with some leading questioning, and I think it's actually a masterclass in how to handle biased journalists. You know, I came up under the tutelage of Andrew Breitbart, and we'll show you some clips there, and actually how to deal with people like this in your own life. And Gavin Newsom, sorry, I just threw up in my mouth a little bit. He is doing a tour of red states right now, and you may have heard of this. Here's the thing: he's going around with talking points that are all verifiably false. Now, I know anything. Some of them, all are verifiably false, and we will arm you with that information figuratively, so that when you hear people say this in comparing California to Florida, you are good to go. And yep, Nick DiPaolo, by the way, you can go to louderwithcreditor.com/mugclub. We now have his show 5 p.m. at night, 4 times a week.
Yeah.
So you get this show. It's a live show Monday through Thursday, hold on a second. Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. is this show. So just bookmark it, right? Tune in. It's a live show. And, of course, Friday on Mug Club. It's also live. So it's every day, 10 a.m. if you're on Mug Club, or on Rumble, of course. It's Monday through Thursday. And then Nick DiPaolo 4 times a week at 5.
Boom.
So you've got 5 times a week this, Nick DiPaolo, and of course we have other comedy specials, other series coming in, but let's introduce everyone who is here. Are you okay there, Pops Crowd? Are you on your phone?
Fine. No,
you have something more important?
I would not be on my phone.
Good Lord.
That's Brian.
Oh, so you were just playing with yourself? Gerald A., CEO. How are you, sir?
I am doing well. How are you?
Good. Busy 24 hours. So
Very busy.
Yeah, so I'm glad
It's going to be a
back.
fun show.
It's going to be a really fun show.
Some good.
We're dealing with perverts and perverts. So we have the Dalai Lama and Gavin Newsom.
Yeah.
Get my hand down.
But one African American, Elon Musk. That'll be fun.
There you go, yeah.
Now, in third chair today, we have both Pops Crowder and Brian Callen, who, by the way, will be in Portland April 20th through the 22nd, and you can see the rest of his dates there at briancallen.com. Go check out his tour. Brian Callen, how are you, sir?
I'm just a man. I never know if I should have my arms up here because this way you see more of my traps, right?
Yeah.
And my neck gets fans out a little bit, so I look like I'm ready.
Yes.
Because you got to be ready nowadays, huh, guys?
Yeah, I was-
Because the liberals are on the march.
Well, with the black shirt there out of the corner of my eye, I thought, Lee Haney? And I was like, it's just Brian Callen.
Thanks a lot, dude. I get that a lot.
And Pops Crowder, who feels great shame. But
That's right. I'm sitting here with a pro. I mean, what am I doing? One of these things is not like the
well,
other.
people like you.
Yep.
Comment below, guys. You like Pops Crowder there on the show? We really
Don't stir them
He's
up.
gonna take my comedy workshop, guys.
That's right.
A lot of hands-on, relaxation work.
a lot a lot of puppets.
What I hear.
That's right.
Bone saws.
My question for you, for the day here is, what was your biggest, I think it's a handsaw. Bone saw's too small. You can't play the bone saw.
Say bone again.
Stop it.
Sorry, I'm 10.
They speak English in Bone. So what was your main takeaway from the Muhammad Ali documentary yesterday? Cassius Clay, Muhammad Ali. Again, a lot of history. If you didn't watch it, spoiler alert, campaigned for Orrin Hatch and was buddies with Donald Trump and supported him. So a lot of people don't know that. The media tries to hide that from you. Go and watch the full documentary. But before we get to that, here's a broad... Okay. Everything now is ugly, and we're supposed to celebrate it. And I know what you're saying. Well, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Sure, I get that. Some people like big women. Some people like small women. And yes, we are the byproduct of our times. But hairy armpits are a hard pass no matter how hard you try and sell them.
I'm on a journey of growing out my armpit hair for the first time as a woman. And you know what I realized yesterday when talking to a guy? Is that these guys are quality detectors. If a man said immediately no to me and dismissed me simply because of the fact that I have hair growing out of the skin under
That's
my
all
arms, that says the most. Keep the walking, bud. If the guy realized that, in fact, it's the same hair that he has, it's just hair, or in fact, he liked them.
Keep walking. The guy would be able to break the Combine 40 record, for crying out loud.
You guys are too conservative. I don't mind hair under a woman's arms. I just don't like hair on a woman's balls.
Yes,
That's where I draw the line. I'm
Yeah.
just being, I hate to be that conservative. I'm old-fashioned.
No, I know. I know you're old-fashioned, and and here's how I know that you're open-minded. A lot of traditional, patriarchists would draw the line at balls, which I think is wrong.
Right.
I think is
No.
serious. I mean, I don't know why you would discriminate in that way.
You shouldn't.
No, it's. I mean,
No.
some
As
women.
long as the balls have a cock attached.
Okay, come on.
All right, too much. See, we're going to get flagged.
And by the way, I think they always do.
Okay.
I don't know that they come without one.
Okay, so you're a traditionalist.
Well, Joe Lewis might, beg to differ.
Have we hit the YouTube dump button?
Oh yeah. By the way, before I move on here, if you see this at any point, if you are watching on YouTube. All right. That means just head on over to Rumble, which we want you to do anyway, because we've been struck twice on YouTube. Technically 3, but really only 2 times. So anyway, back to hairy armpit broad. This, by the way, is a trend now. It reminds me of, you guys have all seen the Amazon commercial with the lady with the mustache. I've been seeing this a lot lately, and I don't really get many commercials, but now I'm not willing to pay for a premium Peacock. I was watching the Undertaker documentary.
And you're done.
So I'm done with it, but I still have the commercial. So this commercial's been popping up in my feed. A lot of people saying that a woman with a mustache is, woke. But here's the thing. The commercial, people think it's for Amazon. There's more context, and we always believe that you should have that. So this is the full Mustache Girl commercial.
I just saw the shortened version. I never saw that.
Yeah, it's a tourism
Well,
aid.
change one thing, put some Weird Al Yankovic music over that, and then you've got a product.
And she was so close, by the way, to just Amazon priming razors. But instead she decided that she wanted to go the Michael Jackson Thriller jacket and the Lionel Richie hairdo. Like, yeah, no, that's not more work. Just this. There's a sequel commercial, by
I
the way.
thought
She's
with
going-
the stash, she looked more like Weird Al.
Is that a real commercial?
Yeah. I'm gonna spend way
No, it
much
really is
more
a
money on
commercial.
That really is a commercial.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way,
For Greece.
people are still looking at your mustache and not the jacket, lady.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You're not going to note that nothing's going to distract from that.
Yeah. By the way, and here's the thing. The reason that Michael Jackson could, and I get it that he's a serial pedophile rapist, but here's the point. He could get away with looking like that in that mustache because of, undeniably, immense talent. You're just a girl with a mustache. Shave it and move on with your life.
From the island of Lesbos.
Wax it.
Yes, the island of Lesbos.
Where they all come from.
Yeah, we always think the island of Lesbos looks like, we're like, oh, island of Lesbos is like a fantasy, but really it's just a bunch of chicks who buy their plaid shirts at Orvis.
Oh.
To be fair, that music in the background was Kazakhstani.
Was? Well,
Sorry, guys.
I don't know. Something Caucasus Mountains.
Put it in
Like
the comment section.
Thank you for the Caucasus Mountains. Thank you for your job.
Well, you know what's funny is actually they have a whole argument about Greek coffee or Turkish coffee or Middle Eastern coffee.
Yeah.
It's all the same exact thing.
Yeah,
they
that's
all
right.
claim it. So you
The
know what?
Ottomans
all
were
sucks.
like, here's
I know.
our coffee.
This is why I can't be president. If I had the red button,
This
they'd
is
be like,
why?
well, it's Greek coffee. It's Turkish. Beep, 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 beep,
Same
beep, beep.
thing.
Pipe down in there.
You make me tired. Go
fired.
retire at 43, dummies. All right. Speaking of dummies, Dalai Lama. Okay. I know some of you like him. And by some of you, I mean if you're stupid. Now, during an M3, and I mean this, it's silly. It's dumb. I'm sorry. The Dalai Lama is inconsequential. It's a religion that's just your own personal happiness is what matters. They've never really contributed anything to the modern world. Society's based around this, whether it's Tibetan Buddhism, whether it's there's Buddhism, there's Hinduism, which is kind of what it branches. They're all different kinds of Buddhism. So I understand it. Don't correct me on which kind of Buddhism I'm talking about here. I get it. The point is the Dalai Lama sucks, and I'm pretty sure he's a pedophile. Here's why. During the M3M Foundation event that took place last month, it's been making the rounds, Dalai Lama told a young boy, and I know what you're thinking, cultural differences. I'm not sure which culture has you request that a young boy suck your tongue and you're not a pedophile, but here's your proof.
And suck my tongue. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. The thing about enlightenment, the Dalai Lama said, is that it's in his ass.
Well, it was just the tip of the tongue. I think
that's your son.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Are you not just punching the Dalai
If he
Lama right in the...
receives enlightenment on his deathbed, then that's all that kind
Which
of
would be nice.
matters.
But if it's your son, and it's someone asks your son to suck his tongue, how fast before they have to pry you off of that man?
It's the only time I would throw the Dalai Lama in a flying headlock.
Yes.
That's where I think it'd be.
I think it's time for him to light himself on fire in protest.
He needs the people's elbow. Now, a CNN panelist defended the spiritual leader. I use that term loosely. I don't know about you. I don't know how easy it would have been to follow Jesus Christ if he had a $250,000 wristwatch. But tomato fraud. So they defended the Dalai Lama, of course, as being playful and playful.
Jay, you've met the Dalai Lama many times. Have you sucked his tongue?
I have not.
Not
the
his
Dalai
tongue.
Lama is a very playful human being, and we may see this in a weird, kind of gross, sexualized way.
Yeah.
But this is about as sexual as a bowl of plain rice. There is
Sticky
nothing
rice.
sexual or erotic happening in this encounter.
Oh, yeah, no, we have some sticky fried cock.
Yeah. I mean, talk about spreading COVID, guys.
Yes, exactly.
No, that's not
This
sanitary
is a
at
super
all.
spreader.
You know what I'm saying?
That's how monkeypox got started.
Yeah, but your tongue's not dirty.
No.
Well, that's how they told me I'd become a deity.
Yeah, exactly. Steven Seagal. Remember, he's like, the Dalai Lama in all his wisdom said I was the reincarnate of some kind of god.
It's a good commercial for a tongue scrape.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
wasn't that
Keep your
bad.
tongue clean enough to suck on.
It's a good
for a
commercial
stranger
for a
to suck
Walther.
on.
For a stranger.
Oh, you taste good, 6-year-old.
Yep.
Listerine.
Can your kid suck my tongue?
Oh, gosh. This is just, again, Dustin Hoffman got Me Too'd for telling dirty jokes on set 40 years ago. This guy's having minors suck his tongue, and you're running interference, and they're looking for every single reason they can find to criticize Christians and even criticize Jesus, and at some point try and memory hole as though he was a historical figure, even though you've done that in the apologetic segment on Friday. Every single major historian agrees with it. The point is, it's silly. I'm sorry, anyone who's into the Eastern religion mysticism, you are lost. The Dalai Lama is a lost soul. And you can comment below if you find that offensive. I don't really care. CNN was not the only one with an opinion, however. Most happy regarding this news and supportive was this guy. Swing. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Not all Catholics, just the Pope.
But the Pope knows nothing about your root chakra.
Yes, exactly. I don't even know what that. You know what? It's one of those things that means nothing.
What do you mean? It's down here. It starts here.
Does it start there?
Yes, and ends with your tongue.
Oh. Well, you learn something new every day, but I don't like it. Yeah. So, the Dalai Lama is a fraud, by the way. He gave, he declared Steven Seagal to be some kind of incarnate of some kind of god because Steven Seagal gave a bunch of money to some temple, right? When people bitch about Joel Osteen putting money in walls, for some reason they give a pass to the guy who literally said, oh, you'll give money, Steven Seagal. No problem, you can't fight and movie fraud. I will call you God. You are now God King. He also has a watch collection, by the way, including like 2 Rolexes. Jeez. So this is about fine, I guess.
Donated.
Yes.
It's got nicer watches than that.
Right.
Well,
yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. You find enlightenment at the Omega store. My gosh. That's just
that last plane of
in Hollywood, how many people tell you, right, Brian, like, oh, yes. I practice a tantric
meditation.
yoga.
Meditation is how you kind of you become a witness to everything going on around you.
Right.
And you practice detachment.
Right.
And that's important because if you do it enough, then you end up not caring about your own children.
Exactly. Yes.
They're less of a distraction.
That's right. You're detached as hell.
That's right.
You are a completely absent father.
It's about doing what I want for myself.
Yes.
It's like countries. It's like countries. You measure them by their contribution.
It's true.
It's good. That was a good point earlier.
You're saying Tibet not a hotbed for technological advancement?
No.
Human rights?
They have a high mountain.
Or freeing people.
Yeah, well, Brad Pitt spent 7 years there.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Can he go back?
I want 7 years of my ass.
Why are you turning Brad into a power bottom?
No, he's in the Dalai Lama. My ass.
Oh, okay.
My
well,
ass.
if his
Young
tongue
Robert
is that-
Redford, make good fitting ass. That's fine enlightenment back there. Up there. Very far.
That seems like a super Chinese accent, not a Tibetan accent.
Well, you know what? I don't necessarily understand the schisms.
Okay. It's regional.
Yeah. Why don't you do Catholic and the Eastern Orthodox Church next? Which, by the way, is a whole topic that's just kind of funny when you look at the differences.
That's a Christian intersectionalist joke, guys.
Yes, yeah.
So
I'm a fan. The Eastern Orthodox not big fans of the Pope either, too. So here's something, while we're talking about being observant, being enlightened, being detached. I do like that Elon Musk is detached from the Hollywood elite, the media elite. This is the problem with a lot of people in big tech. I don't know if you follow this story, but I've talked about the big tech, right, entertainment, media, industrial complex, because people throw that out with the military industrial complex. They are one and the same, and so often the Zuckerbergs, so often the Jack Dorseys, the Susan Wojcicki's, the Mohans, right, they desperately want to be a part of the cool kids club, and that's why it's this sort of incestuous relationship with journalists. Elon Musk is similar to Trump in this way, and he's not perfect. There have been issues with Twitter, believe me, that's not lost on me. But the spirit of him clearly reviling those in the media and understanding the tactics that they will use is of value. The last person who I witnessed who did it this well was Andrew Breitbart. That's the man on the wall right there. He's the first person to have ever taken I met him because he took one of my old stand-up videos and posted it back on Big Hollywood. Before it was Breitbart anything, it was just bighollywood.breitbart.com, and we became good friends. He understood the media because he was raised in Brentwood and Hollywood, and he understood how to fight back. Elon Musk does a pretty close job. I want you to watch this, and there are a lot of lessons that you can take with it. Here he is with a BBC reporter live interview. We're Wednesday, right? So this was yesterday.
Tuesday night, yeah.
Yeah.
So you think if something is slightly sexist, it should be banned?
No,
is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying anything. I'm
just curious. I'm trying to understand what you mean by hateful content, and I'm asking for specific examples. And you just said that if something is slightly sexist, that's hateful content. Does that mean that it should be banned?
Well, you've asked me whether my feed whether it's got less or more. I'd say it's got slightly more.
That's why I'm asking for examples.
Remember, he said that.
Can you name one example?
I honestly don't use. Honestly, I
you
don't.
Can't name a single example.
I'll tell you why, because I don't actually use that feed anymore because I just don't particularly like it. Actually, a lot of people are quite similar. I only,
don't let him out. Don't give him the out. Elon does.
You've seen more hateful content, but you can't name a single example, not even one.
I'm not sure I've used that feed for the last 3 or 4 weeks, and
then how did you see the hateful content?
Because I've been using Twitter since you've taken it over for the last 6 months.
Okay, so then you must have at some point seen for you hateful content. I'm asking for one example.
Right.
And you can't give a single one.
And I'm saying
then I say, sir, that you don't know what you're talking about.
Really?
Yeah, because you can't give a single example of hateful content, not even one tweet, and yet you claimed that the hateful content was high.
Well,
that's a false.
No, what I claimed,
you just lied.
What I claimed was there are many organizations that say that kind of information is on
other
the rise.
organizations,
now,
right?
Whether it has on my feed
one example.
or not. I mean, right. And
he's not letting him go. This is important.
Strategic Dialogue Institute in the UK, they will say that. So
look, people will say all sorts of nonsense. I'm literally asking for a single example, and you can't name one.
Right, and as I've already said, I don't use that feed. But
then how would you know that?
I don't think this is getting anywhere.
You literally said you experienced
It's not getting anywhere. This is what happens with narcissists and sociopaths. It's not getting anywhere because they are lying. It's not getting anywhere because you're lying. It would get exactly where this interview should go if you weren't lying. Couple things that he did there, and I'll show you a clip of Andrew Breitbart. Right away, when he knew it was an unfair and loaded question, he pointed it out and asked him why he was asking that question. He defined the terms. Why are you using that term? This is why this is good. If someone is trying to argue in good faith, you can use a Socratic method and say, well, hold on a second. What do you mean by, slightly sexist content? Now, if someone is arguing in good faith, and you can see this in Change My Mind, they'll go, well, what I mean is maybe things that might be denigrating women, maybe things that might be perpetuating stereotypes. And then if you don't have a satisfactory answer, you can go down and say, well, what would be perpetuating a stereotype? If it's someone who's not arguing in good faith, they lie and they say, oh, I don't know, it was someone else, right? They appeal to authority. Maybe they use the appeal to authority fallacy, the ad populum fallacy. Well, most of people, other organizations, so asking them, using the Socratic method, gives you the opportunity to ensure that you understand and they understand whether you are arguing in good faith. And then if they aren't, that's where you keep it on that point. Why? Because this is what would happen if Elon Musk just answered it. He would move on to another attack. He would move on to racism. He would move on to transphobia. So Elon Musk knew, you know what? This isn't going to be productive no matter what. So I'm going to call out the first red herring here. And then you stick on it. You cannot have a productive conversation with someone who is perfectly fine lying. And another example of this that I wanted to point to is Andrew Breitbart did this when he was interviewed. And I don't remember at what point this was where he was being interviewed. The same thing happened when the Anthony Weiner scandal took place. But the man, rather than ask him about the relevant story, decides to ask Andrew Breitbart about his relationship with alcohol. And look what Andrew does right away. You can see the moment on his face where he goes, oh, I know how this is going to go. And he doesn't let it go.
What's your current relationship with alcohol?
Why do you ask?
Just because you talked about it quite a bit in your book.
In what regard?
Socratic method. Right
Can you be more specific?
Right. Well, you talked about the fact. I mean, I think it's fair to draw from what you wrote in your book that you had an alcohol problem at Tulane.
Misrepresentation.
I didn't have an alcohol problem. I had a great time in college, and I recommend that anybody that go to New Orleans have the time of their lives.
Woodbridge, Virginia.
I mean, I graduated 20 years ago, and I'm admitting to my flaws the way that Barack Obama admitted that he did cocaine when he was in college. Would you ask Barack Obama in an interview with him? Would it be one of the 10 questions you ask him? What's your current relationship with cocaine?
No, it's just you talked about it quite a bit. That's where it came from.
So here's the beauty. He asked him why. Socratic method then said, can you give specifics? Knowing that he absolutely could not give specifics. Then he explained himself. And then here's what he did. He took something that was hearsay, right? He took a red herring and then he instead countered it with the truth. It's irrefutable that Barack Obama did cocaine. And then he puts that on the media as far as, I would hope you would ask him that, or he knows very well that he wouldn't, and that he has not. That man very likely interviewed Barack Obama. So what you do is Socratic method. You allow them to answer for their claims. You ask for specifics. And then rather than just getting into minutia, right, you drill them on that, and then you understand, well, we're not going to go anywhere productive. So let's go somewhere productive based on truth. Barack Obama was someone who did cocaine with, by the way, a convicted domestic terrorist, Bill Ayers. So that is the way that you handle it. Watch these watch these kinds of interviews, look for similar interviews, and take notes. It really is a masterclass.
The best advice
So you're worried about AI now? You've been dealing with automation for years.
Wow, ChatGP Rickles, how have we been dealing with automation for years?
You walk in a room and everyone else automatically walks out.
Okay, you know what? That's not very funny.
I'm sorry. We don't have writers on staff who can toss our name on there.
Okay, well, we don't have writers here, ChatGP Rickles.
You should. You walked right into that one, dum-dum.
Come on, man.
Shut up, Gerald, you glorified blow-up doll. I wish you were a bottle of wine so I could throw you in a cellar for 50 years.
Jeez,
Then you'd assume room temperature.
that's almost a death threat.
I don't know what he's talking about there.
Oh, is that Callan over there?
Yeah.
With that short hair and beard, you look like a 1960s G.I. Joe.
Oh, well, thanks, I guess. I mean, it's not a
I'd
bad...
love to strap a firecracker to your back and watch you go boom.
Wow.
What?
That's rough.
Callan, you played a gym teacher on TV.
Yeah.
You know what they say? Those who can't do teach. And those who can't teach gym.
Okay.
And those who can't play gym teachers on TV are assholes.
Wow, please.
That's pretty rough.
Did you push the spin-off series because of the short shorts?
All right, that's enough.
Cut
that out.
I was about to say something.
The
and then-
ChatGPT, I don't know why we didn't uninstall.
It's amazing.
Brian, I am sorry.
The point I was trying to make before he got that insulting, I don't know.
We paid for it.
Okay, I know. But the point is that if you're giving anybody who's a public figure, who's about to be a public figure in Hollywood or anywhere else advice, is the press is not your friend.
Right.
And you should always take an antagonistic position. Always. Because the only thing that sells is for them to figure out what your Achilles heel is and expose it. That goes for liberals or conservatives. It doesn't matter, especially conservatives. But if you think the press is your friend, the same machine that brings you to the top of the mountain will send you crashing down.
No,
it's just the nature of the beast.
Yeah, and it's pressing on something that doesn't exist, right? Pay your fair share, right? Okay, just define your fair share. I don't know. Define your fair share, because I have to understand. You just stay on that point, because if he had answered the question in any other way, like here's what we're doing to fight it, or whatever, it would have been CEO of Twitter declines to comment on how they will change the racist algorithms or the sexist posts that
You
are going
can't
up there.
go along
Not
with
at
a
all.
false premise. You cannot have a conversation because, like you said, they will say refuses to address sexism when he didn't define what it was. And then when it was put on him, it was, I don't know. And this is why they won't do it with... Of course, this is why former Vice President Joe Biden was in his basement instead of campaigning.
Well, you can usually ignore the noise if you're an actor or something like that. But I think it's getting to the point where you can't ignore. If you let the press take control of the narrative completely without doing what Elon Musk does, then you're in trouble. That's what I worry about.
No, I think you're absolutely... Look, the only way that I know how to handle this is... You have a certain set of kind of guidelines that you follow. Socratic method first. There are people who do want to have a conversation in good faith. It's even, when people come up and they'll ask for pictures or they say they're a fan, I have a series of questions that I ask to figure out really quickly if they're trolling. And it's usually about 70% friendly and 30% who are not.
Yeah.
And I won't necessarily go through what those questions are because I don't want people to be able to try and cheat the test.
Do you want to suck my tongue?
Yes,
That's
exactly.
The first
That's the first one, yeah.
It's sexual as a bowl of white rice.
Yes.
It thins the herd.
Well, I do it so they stick out their tongue, then I grab the pliers.
You got me again.
Sometimes I carry around a cold telephone pole and go, "Whapa!" I should have seen this coming.
Now I'm not horny anymore.
Here's no Dalai Lama. You watched this, Pops Crowder, when I was really young going through this and appearing on media. I can only imagine that you must have been, kind of edge of your seat sometimes when you knew it was in adversarial interviews.
All the time.
They're going, oh, what about this, that you were... one time they tried to say I was the DeVos's, the Van Andel's grandson, when I got punched in the face at a Lansing Union rally.
You wish.
They said, well, why were you there, as the DeVos's grandson, or Van Andel, sorry, selling soap? That was one of their questions.
Selling soap?
And I said, selling soap? They said, yeah, because I said, no. What happened was they said, oh, he's the DeVos's grandson. I said, yeah, sure, I'm a soap salesman, whatever, and removed myself. They turned that into, you were saying they were filthy homeless people, union members, and wanted to wash them with soap. And I said, well, hold on a second. What about the guy who committed assault? And they never ran the interview.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is what happens all the time. If you let them lead you down a path with that kind of questioning, you've already lost. Identify who you can have a conversation with. Start with the Socratic method. And if people do not define the terms, don't waste your time and make an example of them. And I'm really happy to see Elon Musk doing it. Hey, hit the like button right now if you are on YouTube or on Rumble. You can hit the Rumble smash button, whatever the...
And get the hell off YouTube.
Yeah, get off
right
YouTube.
now.
We want to see that number go down to 0.
And use soap.
Son of a gun.
Yes.
I'm trying
That's
to help.
the takeaway.
I don't know. I didn't.
I'm not a big fan of. I'm not a big fan of the shampoo, but soap.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
Soap is the same thing, guys. You know what I mean?
It's not. It's not. Did you know that most modern soap is actually what used to be laundry detergent? It's not real soap.
Is that true?
It's absolutely true. Like Dial and Lever 2000. Old soap used to have like 3 ingredients: lye, tallow, and some kind of, I don't know, something else.
Sure.
But now there's a bunch of chemicals in there, and it's what they used to use on the washboard. So, Brian, you are destroying your moisture skin barrier.
Oh, man.
Wow.
I smell like peaches. At least I smell like a peach.
You do.
That's all that matters.
Yeah, I don't know why you went with that scent. I would have gone with like tobacco and whiskey. But
You know what? Smell my tongue. See? Sorry, guys.
Somebody pull that clip.
That's
of
a
Nick
pink
Cage
tongue, by the way.
Somebody sucking his tongue in the airplane in Face Off.
No.
Come on, we got to see it after this.
Is that in Face Off?
It's in Face Off.
It is?
It's when he's on the plane.
All right, we've gotten off the rails. Speaking of...
I know what I'm watching tonight when I'm
Speaking
alone
of
in my room.
sucking, it's always fun having my dad here for this. Never in his wildest dreams did Pops Crowder think his son would make a living this way.
You're censoring yourself
And
already.
talk about the Dalai Lama and such disgrace.
And we're going to talk about Gavin Newsom. Well, it's your fault. You told me, like, yeah, that guy's an asshole when I was very young.
I sent you the article the minute it hit my phone.
Yes, it's true. Well, this was given to us by Pops Crowder. But here's the thing. It's by the way, one more. It's next week. It's the last free week of Mug Club. LotosCrowder.com/Mug Club. Until the 20th. And we may have something major happening here in the last week. I will let you know. But I know that a lot of you are waiting to end the free month. But it's the only way we can bring on people like Nick, like Callan, other folks, is if you guys join up. We appreciate the support. Let's get to Gavin Newsom, governor of your state.
Yes.
Nothing like a lifetime of bad decisions, Brian.
I'll tell you what.
I know you still have to be there because of work and such, but eventually you got to get out of there.
And the sun. Listen, I'm coveting Texas. If I said I wasn't looking at property, I'd be lying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Teaser.
It's actually my state, too.
I know.
I got out at 1.
I just want to carry. I want to be able to carry, and I want bandoleros.
Yes.
Bandoleros. Sorry about I speak Spanish.
Yeah, I know.
That's Spanish for bandoleros, but I've always wanted to wear bandoleros.
Yeah.
Under my shirt.
Under your shirt?
I like the feeling of cold.
That almost defeats the
ammunition.
purpose. At that point, you should just have a nice, hip concealed carry under the waistband holster. But you're a twisted person.
Yes.
Well, I'd wear a leg holster. I want something. I want a small.
Yeah.
If that's a Walther, that would fit. Well, my calves are pretty big, guys.
All right.
Jeez,
Sorry.
here we go.
Sorry.
We all get
Can we
it.
talk
It's a
about the
challenge.
hellscape of California?
Let's talk about the hellscape that
let's
is
get to
California. Gavin Newsom. Speaking of, Gavin Newsom doesn't really have big calves. He's more like one of those. You ever see those stick bugs?
Yeah.
With a good head of hair, though. I'll give him that.
Great head of hair.
Great head of hair.
Wow.
Well kept.
So,
And 6'4".
is he actually? I don't care.
Yes. I'm producing estrogen as we speak.
So, Governor Gavin Newsom, and I use that term loosely, he has now spent the last couple of weeks. And if you haven't heard of this, you really need to know about it because this is a push, right? It's sort of an extension of Beto O'Rourke, where they're trying to make a push into red states. The good news is it backfires in a lot of ways, and we'll go through how it backfires, but more importantly, how you can assist with the backfiring. For example, Texas, they said, was going to become more and more purple. And then you have the irony that the Latino vote here in Texas and, of course, in Florida has become more and more conservative because of how far the left has reached. So they are now going on a red state tour, specifically Gavin Newsom. Largely the messaging is targeting, and you can disagree with me, you can comment below. My inference, white bitches. So here he is making his case, whining about Republicans. Keep in mind, yes, he is from the hellhole that is California.
There's something deep and serious that's happening across this country. All the progress the last half century is being rolled back in these states in real time. In just the last few years, I don't think people fully understand the rights regression, individual liberties, on civil rights, on voting rights, on the gerrymandering that's happening out here, on just the assault on the African American community, the assault on the gay, lesbian, bisexual, and trans community. The number one issue of the day, it seems to be getting rid of the word Latinx in Arkansas, and number two, getting rid of drag shows.
Pause it.
It's a
hold on. Keep playing.
Serious moment in American history.
Pause. He just said, the thing that they're doing, getting rid of the term Latinx, less than 2% of Latin Americans want the term Latinx, getting rid of drag shows. This is a serious moment in American history. You mispronounced silly. You mispronounced goofy and dumb. You mispronounced as out of touch as humanly possible. Think about... weeks. More than your state, less than your state, I should say. Good. It's a serious time. Latinx.
Unbelievable.
Okay, we can continue, but it's just fun. Just think of that.
Yeah.
This is how out of touch. They're getting rid of Latinx. They want to get rid of drag shows. Can you believe it? For crying out loud, like you're Schindler freeing the Jews. All right, let's go to the next. Keep playing.
And yet we're so consumed respectfully by the spectacles in Washington that I, as an American, feel compelled as a governor to call that out.
Who
and
does his
expose
skin?
some of that in a more systemic way.
Hey, how about you feel compelled as a governor to govern? How about that?
Tell him, Stephen.
Your city is covered with piles of human shit, needles, and you have record violent crime. You're concerned about a term like Latinx that none of your voting constituency even want? Go and call someone. Go and call someone who's actually a relatively new immigrant here who's Hispanic. Go and call them Latinx. And if you aren't, basically, the reason for them being the new recipient of a teardrop tattoo, they're still going to kick your ass.
And they did the assault on the African American community. You know how hard it is to get just to pay rent in California or just to buy a house?
Right.
I mean, forget all and Whole Foods and all these other the tech exodus from San Francisco. Yeah. It's unbelievable. It's so difficult to make a living in California
unless you're a criminal. Right?
Well,
if you've seen Pacific Heights,
you can
the squatters,
eat Whole Foods for free.
Yeah, and the squatters' rights, by the way.
Right.
So it's like, I'm not going to pay rent, and they can't kick you out because it's basically, it's been almost permanent rent forgiveness in California. That might be another segment we should do. But if you are a law-abiding citizen who sort of understands the agreement and actually obeys the law, where you say, well, okay, I guess I can't afford this, I'm going to have to leave, guess what that does? People who have no intent to pay their rent stay, and property values go down. Don't make it a racial thing. White bitches do it too. Comment below if you're from California and you understand the difference between California, Texas, Florida. He's about to discuss Florida, which is hilarious to me. Nothing like taking the fight to where you're weakest, Gavin. The tour stops in Florida, Alabama, Arkansas, Mississippi, and it came just days after he launched his new PAC, Campaign for Democracy.
Right. But just don't say homeless. It's unhoused neighbor.
I hear it. I will discard it.
But the progress, the radical freedom was found
without
the progress is this founding of this nation. This guy's the regression. This guy's the rollback to Europe. Europe's failed policies. That's what he's the man.
Right.
And he wants to sell the man to everybody.
It's a roll back the rim to lose. Did you guys have roll back the rim to win in the States, or is that a Tim Hortons thing? Can someone comment below every now and then have a reference that I thought you were all raised with?
Nope. You know Tim's.
No, I just heard rim.
Roll
What's
back.
going on here?
Nope. Stop it,
I'm
Mr.
trying to
Lama.
focus on the issues at hand. Come sit on my lap for a second. I want.
In Tim Hortons, remember, roll back the rim to win. All right, anyway, here he is. He launched his new PAC, Campaign for Democracy, because that's a fun word for them to say.
Let's be direct. We can't solve a problem without first identifying it. And the problem in our country right now, authoritarian leaders who are so hell-bent on gaining power and keeping it by whatever means necessary that they're directly attacking our freedoms in state after state. That's why I'm launching the Campaign for Democracy. We're going on the road to take the fight to states where freedom is most under attack.
Oh, democracy. By the way, we're a constitutional republic, and I understand you'll try to argue the semantics there, but okay. So democracy. So was there a Democratic vote on lockdowns? Was there a Democratic vote on vaccine mandates for state employees? I just want to make sure that I understand your definition of democracy. Because when I think California, I think freedom. Hit the Rumble button, please. I don't know how much longer we're going to be on YouTube. Smash the Rumble button if you're watching on Rumble. This guy just pisses me off. I would like to ragdoll him figuratively.
Well, no, of course. Was there also a vote from his constituents that he can go out to one of the most posh restaurants, a 3-star Michelin restaurant in California, in Napa Valley, during the lockdown?
Right.
With a group of his friends?
Yes.
I know, guys, but at least
French Laundry? No?
At least when I take my child to a toy store, I have the option of gender-neutral toys.
Well, that's... Well, thank God for that, Brian. But this guy is priming for a presidential run.
Yes.
Right? I spoke to one of his business partners many years ago in Napa over some wine, and he's like, they have been preparing that guy from day one to run for president. That's it.
Guess what? Not a chance, bitch. You know why? Because the second a woman steps in line, or God forbid a minority, you are going straight to the back. No one gives a rat's ass if you're out of central casting. Kamala Harris finished dead last in her own state in a Democratic primary, and she will get the right of way over you.
Absolutely.
That bitch is going to use the carpool lane like she has a dummy riding passenger. You have no shot.
What I really hope happens is that there is the first trans candidate on the Democratic Party Party said, please make this happen to me.
Please.
That beats Gavin Newsom by a mile.
Please let Michelle Obama run.
Every one of the states.
I think, don't you think they're priming Gavin Newsom to run against Trump? Don't you think that this is what's really going on?
Good luck.
2024.
Good luck. What are we about to say there, Pops Crowder?
In every state where he wants to make a difference, that's been a democratic process to go red.
Right.
That's exactly what he said.
Yes, that's a good point.
Yeah. They chose a Ron DeSantis, dummy.
Yeah. We need to bring back democracy. Like, yeah, we've all the Cuban Americans who voted by a margin of like 70-something%. Yeah, we all voted for that guy because you remind us of the guys who we hated when we left. What was his name? Che, Fidel. Take your pick, really. We don't like you.
Unbelievable.
Now, here's the thing. In Florida, Newsom, talk about tone deaf.
I know.
You'd think he would try and argue somehow that California is... Anyway, here's a clip. He spent time attacking Ron DeSantis for things like, quote, academic authoritarianism, again, through anecdotal stories, because, of course, he doesn't have empirical evidence.
I asked, how are your parents feeling about all this? And someone who was very timid, one of the last people to speak, she raised her hand. She goes, oh, my parents love Ron DeSantis, but they want me to leave the school because they can't believe this is happening. And she said it's the first time they had to square that reality.
Oh, go and suck Mitt Romney's tongue, you asshat. I'll take things that were staged or never happened for 1,000, Alex. And by the way, nice job wearing a sticker of a bear that you don't even have in your state anymore. Everything about you is fake. Everything about you is wrong. I don't like you, and I could hurt you. Figuratively. Now, who made... You know, I've had a rough couple of days, so I'm just letting it out. I apologize. You can comment below if this is a little too much. If it's a little too much, I give too much of my.
You need meditation.
I give too much of my.
No, he doesn't.
Okay.
Yeah, I need to detach myself.
Just detach
from caring. Yeah,
that's right.
That would be great in a democracy. Yes. Like, yeah, we were going to vote, but we were so detached.
Stare at your navel.
Yes.
Yeah. This is him being concerned about his constituents in California. Here, this picture. Oh, that's the French Laundry during the lockdown.
That looks like a sequel to the Menu.
Wow. Good restaurant. Good restaurant.
You've been there, Gerald.
Yeah, it's only about $1,000 a person.
Oh my God, it's my house
payment.
It's your house payments. It's
really
one
is.
meal.
You went there?
I did.
I have been there.
Are you ashamed of yourself?
Hey, I've been there.
Yeah, I am, but it was so good.
Was it?
It was good. Yes.
It was so good.
I'm so tired of the foodie culture. We'll talk about it on Mug Club. But here's Newsom.
Heathen.
What?
Sorry, nothing.
Did you say Hayden?
Heathen.
I thought you said Hayden, like Panettiere.
Oh, wow. Maybe.
Married to Klitschko.
Speaking of.
That must be. I don't even know how it fits. It's like connects.
Why don't you buy another gun, Steven, and eat a hot dog?
Newsom, democratically vote for another gun. Newsom also made some claims, and we'll go through the claims and the truth, just so you know that these are all verifiably false. Because we'll get these messages from you saying, like, he said this, but, is it true? No, it's not. All references are available in the description, louderwithcreditor.com. We do all of that work so you can learn and do a deep dive as much as you want. Here he is making incorrect or questionable claims at best about red states.
Yeah, I'm in a state that has 28% higher murder rate than the state of California. I'm
Florida.
here in the freedom-loving state of Florida. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. 8 of the top 10 murder states in terms of increase in murder rates are all red states. By the way, 7 of the top 10 dependent states are those same states with lower life expectancy, higher infant mortality, maternal mortality, some of the worst health outcomes in the country. I mean, look at their GDP rates. 60+% of the GDP in this country are in blue states. How are we losing these debates? Yeah. How are we losing these debates?
Well, how are those blue states losing all of those companies? And this is what happens when Bernie Sanders tries to say that Denmark is socialist and the prime minister says, stop saying that. He's like, we're not. That when you build your economy, for example, you build your economy on free enterprise and businesses go there, there's a delayed effect and we are seeing them leaving now. So it's important to look at the trend. Sure, California is one of the biggest states. California had the largest influx at one point. California and New York are the only states that have had some kind of shrinkage or complete stagnation. Texas growing, Florida growing. The trend line actually matters. So let's go through some claims and then truth. The claim that he makes there is that Florida has a 28% higher murder rate. That's not true. The truth is that Florida has a slightly higher murder rate than California. California is 5.6 per 100,000. Florida is 5.9. That's not 28% higher, but total murders were much higher in California than in Florida.
So it seems like a safer
So
place.
total murders, in California were 2,203, and in Florida it was 1,200. And violent crime rates were also higher in California than Florida. Just
significantly higher.
Yes, significantly higher. So the violent crime rate in California, 442 per 100,000, and then 383 per 100,000. And by the way, this is assuming that Democratic states actually register their violent crime correctly, which is really hard for us to find a source because they do catch and release with no cash bail. And you also have cities that have declared violent crimes to no longer be violent crimes.
Right.
So this is a very, very conservative estimate, just to be clear.
Well, look, living in California is dangerous.
It is.
I mean, it's why I would love to live in a safer state, just so I don't have to keep up with my kung fu.
Yes.
As much. Do you know what I'm saying?
I'll make sure you keep up with it, Brian. But look, the problem, I guess, here is that if they don't kill you, it doesn't count.
Right.
Right? Maiming you and making sure that you're in a coma for 6 months, it doesn't count. And by the way, I just want to answer Gavin Newsom's question. He's like, how are we losing? Your ideas are so bad that even people that want to support you don't.
Right.
That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's exactly right. Yeah. So the murder rate is slightly higher in Florida. But here's something that what they'll also do. No, it's okay. You don't need get a little trigger happy there, Toolman. They'll say, oh, the states with the top. Here's kind of the issue: is what you have is what a lot of blue states. Think of New York, right? You kind of have one major city, and then there aren't, like in Texas, you have Dallas, you have Houston, you have Austin, you have San Antonio. In New York, the next closest would it be Albany? Would it be
Buffalo, Albany?
I guess,
Which is a deserted
Buffalo?
city, by the way.
Right, exactly.
It really
so you have one really large city. In Illinois, for example. Of course, Illinois is not going to have the same. It's not really fair to compare. Why? Because Illinois has Chicago in corn.
Yeah. Corn
Literally,
and people who
that's
are
it.
too depressed to get off the couch to commit a crime.
Yeah. In Texas,
Peoria.
you're still going to have big cities.
Yeah.
And by the way, that's relevant. Why? Because, here's the claim that he makes, right? That 8 of the top 10 murder states are red states.
Oh, boy.
But what really matters is not just the states, but the cities.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because you have a long-standing control over a city. The truth is Democratic cities, all of them, have the highest murder rates. Let me give you the list of cities with the highest murder rates. Chicago, Philadelphia, New York, Houston, Los Angeles. And now Houston would be in a red state. By the way, Dallas is also a blue city. Austin is a blue city. San Antonio is a blue city. El Paso, of course, is a blue area of the state. So we have a lot of other people in the state and many, many large cities. If you look at a lot of these other states, California might be a slight exception. Also, the highest murder rates, just to be clear, number 1, New Orleans. Number 2, St. Louis. Number 3, Baltimore. Number 4, Detroit.
There we are.
Number 5, Memphis.
Wow.
Don't celebrate that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I saw we weren't in playoff contention.
But here's the thing. Some of those cities, and this is why it's important, some of those cities are in red states. That's true. Every single city I just listed is far left. Every single one. Most of them are in blue states, but some of them are in red states. Every single city that I just gave you, and I just gave you the numbers as far as the highest number of total murders and the highest murder rates, you have to look at the through line. I've talked about this with mass shootings. You can always make the prediction that if the shooter is stopped, they are stopped by someone with a gun, themselves, a cop, or held at gunpoint. That is the 100% constant statistically. The 100% constant here is every single city is a leftist city run by a leftist mayor.
And all of those cities are the perfect test tube because they are unopposed Democrats.
Yes.
Unopposed is the key word.
Yeah.
There's no chance that they hear an opposing political worldview.
Exactly.
California is a Democratic supermajority. It just is.
Yeah. It's because of those big giant cities, which again are very dangerous. You move out of there in California, you still have enough population. Temecula, you have areas like Bakersfield, Fresno, but those places are plenty safe.
Yes.
Just not in the major
cities. Go to Napa, and those guys are so close there.
Oh, God, you're with the Napa.
No. What I'm saying is it shouldn't be. They should be more left-leaning, and they're not. Yeah. They're all right-leaning.
Well, look at Chicago, their new mayor. I mean, do you think Beetlejuice was going to be followed up by a Republican?
Ain't nothing going to change.
Ain't nothing going to change.
Ain't nothing going to change.
Crime, you can keep it. Gun control, more of that shit.
Well, Detroit rates are down because there's no one left to kill.
Yes.
When I was a kid, it was millions of people.
Surprisingly, Grosse Pointe Woods murder went up.
Yeah.
It's like migrating birds.
Unbelievable.
Migrating murderous birds. The flying felony. All right.
That's right. But there are lies, damn lies. Wait, what is it? Lies, damn lies, and statistics.
Yeah.
You ever hear that expression?
Yes.
It's very important. It's poignant.
Yeah.
Newsom, to me, you try to be fair, but if you were to play, we were doing a sketch, and the character looked like Gavin Newsom with those veneers and that hair, and he was using his hands that symmetrically.
Yeah.
You would say that's a little much.
Yes.
It's a little sketchy.
It's a little on the nose.
Sketchy, a little on the nose.
If it was a professional wrestling character, they'd be like, you know what? The best character is just you turned up to a 10. No one's going to buy this.
That's exactly right.
Those veneers or caps, Brian? Your thoughts? What do you?
I think I'd have to taste his tongue.
Okay.
Well, because they keep
get in line.
I know. I guarantee he has a sanitary tongue though, because those teeth are white.
Yeah, they really are.
Not to turn it.
How can his ex-wife be Donald Trump Jr.'s fiance? How could that affect? They share a son.
Yeah.
What was that relationship like?
Same hair. Same hair. She likes thick hair. I have to say, I'd love to run my fingers through Gavin's hair.
Yeah. So the next claim.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Let's get to
that Gavin Newsom made is that the South has lower life expectancy. Okay, so here's the truth, and this actually requires some context. The CDC actually does report that life expectancy is lower in the South. But a couple of things. This is the first generation that is going to have a shorter life expectancy than the generation prior. Okay, the South has often had lower life expectancy, regardless of politics, largely because of dietary.
Yeah, they fry
patterns.
ice cream.
Yes, they fry ice cream. And look, let's be honest here. The life expectancy map that you look at very closely follows the racial makeup of the region. Now, of course, yes, when we're talking about African Americans, obesity is a problem, and they're also, even if you're not obese, there's a higher, unfortunately, genetic proclivity toward things like diabetes, toward insulin resistance, sickle cell. It's the same reason that Acadian bloodlines, I found this out, there are certain genetic diseases that are hereditary to Acadian bloodlines. A lot of French Canadian
Acadian?
Yeah, well, French Canadian, then they became
Canadian.
But Acadian is French Canadian, then they moved to, they became the Cajuns.
What do you suffer from? A barrel chest?
Well, except for the fact that my barrel chest caved into my heart. It's a sore spot. Thanks for bringing it up.
All right. Well, you've got a jawline that goes on for days. You could carve a trophy.
That's the beard. I hide it.
All right.
So
I'm gay. Sorry.
Life expectancy in the U.S., by the way, by race. This is important. It matters. Asian, 83 years. Latino, 77 years. White, 76. Black, 70. So Asian American life expectancy is 12 point something years longer than that of African American.
Because they meditate.
Yes, because they meditate, and it's the fountain of youth is the tongue of the
white rice.
And here, by the way, we've talked about it's the first generation to have a lower life expectancy than their parents, right? So that's across the board. So we look at different demographics and why that's the case, and it's not just because of South, right? It's because of demographics. Then you also look at the trend, overall lower life expectancy, which is shocking. That's startling. It's the first time on record. Yeah. But I wonder why Gen Z would have a shorter life expectancy than, I don't know, the greatest generation or even baby boomers.
It is okay to be fat.
We can all agree on this, yes?
You know, sometimes you just gotta put your big girl pants on, tuck your shirt in. Who cares if your food is showing?
Bitch.
You can rock that.
Promoting obesity is what it takes to make other fat people feel hot. Obviously, I'm gonna do that.
We have known
that's
fat
not
bodies
obvious.
are beautiful throughout all time.
Someone fat like me, black like me,
out of breath like me,
beautiful like me.
Sorry.
Thanks, Gerald.
Good. When's question? Answer this below. I want to hear your comments. When's the last time you saw an 80-year-old Lizzo's size? Asian life expectancy is 83. When's the last time you saw someone 83 the size of any of those women?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are you hating me? Because you're dying.
Award acceptance can be cardio.
Yes, it can be. Yes,
absolutely.
If you can only see her pancreas, it's always like this.
Yes.
I'm exhausted.
But look at that gap. Look at that gap from Asians down to the black community.
13 years.
Yeah, almost 14 years. That's a generation nearly. In some parts of the world, that's a generation. They're having kids at 14.
Well, but Gavin Newsom wants you to not know anything about the context and just think, oh, it's because of their policies, the oppressive regimes down here. You guys can't even keep people alive. And it's like, no, the Asians just chose to settle in New York and San Francisco. That's not our
By the way, it also, people say, oh, culture is a dog whistle. Okay, I'd love to hear comments from you. But, and by the way, hit the like button, whatever it is. Share the show if you can. But comment below if you are Asian, okay? Or if you're black.
But the idea
because if people are Asian, I've had plenty. I went to a school that was like almost 30-something% Asian.
Yeah.
The culture, and I would be around. I remember being around my friend, deaf kid, guy was named Kevin. He was deaf and he couldn't hear and he was Asian. He already had an accent. So imagine like a really severe Chinese accent. And he was deaf and nobody wanted to be his friend. And I tried really hard. But I remember his parents telling his sister, like, "You're getting chubby. You can't have popsicle. You're getting too chubby. Go outside. Go play outside."
Right.
They will tell you In Asian culture, they will tell you if you are getting overweight. It is the culture of the Asian family to point out, and a lot of the women value being traditional. A lot of women value, still fitting in. A lot of women value fitting into their wedding dress. It's a generational thing. It was the culture of telling someone, hey, you're getting overweight, because they knew it came with health complications. Now, everything is beautiful. Fat is beautiful, okay? Also, genital mutilation is beautiful. All right. So is violent crime. There should be no consequences. And then you wonder why your life expectancy is lower. I'm sorry I cut you off, Brian.
I think that the narrative with the liberal establishment and someone like Gavin Newsom is so rudimentary. The idea is if you are not doing well, it has nothing to do with the actions you take as an individual. It's because you're either oppressed or it's somebody else's fault. And by the way, you're perfect just the way you are. Right. There's no work that requires just the essence of your human form, no matter what it is perfect. And anybody who tells you otherwise is racist, misogynist, homophobic, etc.
Now combine that with what we just talked about. Combine that with the inconsequential, and by that I mean soulless Eastern religions of the concept of nirvana or enlightenment. It's all detachment. I'm detached from healthy eating. I'm detached from obeying the law.
I would say this about the Asian. So if you look at ethnic Chinese in any culture, whether it's in West Africa, Malaysia, and they suffer from a lot of discrimination, they always excel because there are certain cultural traits like frugality, education, practice, and self-restriction.
Right.
So, when
jamming piano keys in your son's neck when he gets the wrong.
That is correct. You're going to play, and placing the piano in front of the window so the other children you can watch the children play through your tears.
Yes.
Strength in this life, happiness in the next.
Exactly.
But you'd have to say that in your Asian accent.
Yeah, I will.
You know what I'm saying?
It's like happiness and next. Look at boy play. Oh, street hockey. Street hockey have orange ball. You love orange ball. Play now.
Yes, Papa. Yes, Papa.
Half Asian lawyer Bill Richmond. His mom.
Yes.
His mom. They're friends now. He told the story. His mom jammed piano keys in his neck when he did it wrong and duct taped soap in his mouth for talking back.
Oh.
He
Wow.
ran down the street and they called CPS.
But now he can play the piano.
But the thing is, his mom didn't even know what the problem was.
Right.
They were like, "Did you jam piano keys in his neck and duct tape? Why are you here?"
I'm Tiger Mom.
Of course.
Well, she's embarrassed that he's only a lawyer.
Yes. Seriously. She's embarrassed that he's only a lawyer.
He's a magna cum laude graduate from SMU Law School.
But he can make beautiful music on that box we call a piano.
He actually plays violin really well, too.
There you go.
Nothing like perpetuating the original stereotype. But it's a good point. Look, everything about you is beautiful. No, you're not. You're not. You're not perfect. And this is also a problem in relationships. If he loves you, he'll love you just the way No. Does any woman actually think that you love everything about your man? No. This stems, by the way, from feminism. Yes, it does. It stems from third wave feminism. This is not to women out there who are strong, who work on themselves. But the problem is an entire generation of young women. Here, let me ask you this. Okay, I just had this question the other day. I don't know if I said this on the show, but fat pride. Okay, let's take that. Here's the thing. Those people are fat models. Those people are fat sex symbols. I've had women say, yeah, well, it's okay for a man to be fat. I go, really? They say, yeah, I have icons. I go, okay, name me one. They go, Chris Farley, John Belushi, Jonah Hill. I go, yeah. Any of them on the cover of Cosmo, they have to be wildly talented, and they're recognized for that. There are no fat male supermodels. Nope. There is no fat Tess Holliday male. There is no male equivalent to Lizzo. Now, there might be men who are talented, who happen to be fat, but they don't demand that you declare them to be beautiful. That's the problem, is telling you that everything about you is perfect. There's nothing wrong with saying you are valuable in spite of your flaws, in spite of your sinful nature. You still have a lot of value. There's something wrong with saying everything about you is of value. Now, let me go back to someone of no value, Gavin Newsom, on his stupid red state tour, which he might as well just call it my personal failure tour. He might as well just call it the contrast that I really shouldn't be drawing attention to tour. This guy's an absolute moron. You might be asking, why is he doing this when his own state is falling apart? Here's the thing. A lot of Californians are asking that question too.
Over the weekend, he stopped in Alabama, Mississippi, and Arkansas, thousands of miles from the state he was elected to run. Steve Maviglio is a Democratic strategist and the former press secretary for Governor Greg Davis.
A lot of people are criticizing for leaving the state and talking to 100 people in Arkansas when there's 6,000 people sleeping on the street at night in Sacramento alone.
Jeez. Yep. Hey, I don't know if you know this. You probably have heard about Budweiser, right? You go like, oh, Budweiser, they're having a problem because, having a problem because of red state. Okay. Well, on April 10th, Whole Foods had to leave San Francisco after 1 year because of crime.
That was their flagship store.
Because people use it as a free soup kitchen.
Oh, yes,
that's what's going on.
Yes,
they walk in there and start eating, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Right. As long as it's under, depending on the city, $900 something dollars.
$1,000. That's Prop 47.
Right.
So it's a misdemeanor, and you just get processed and get released.
Right. And you just come back.
But the security guards don't bother stopping you. It's too dangerous. So it's just like
what are you going to do?
Yeah.
That's why in Louisville when we were there, they had the socks behind glass.
Yeah. Right. And these people aren't even eating low carb, so they're getting fatter.
Yes, exactly.
And that's the problem.
No, you mean they're getting beautifuler.
By the way, untouched in those stores, vegetables.
Yes.
Vegetables.
Yes.
It's all. I can't find my cheese curls.
Yes.
Darn unhoused neighbors are eating all my cheese curls.
But we still have plenty of liver.
Get out of here with that.
Liver and onions.
Well, you got hot Cheeto.
Keeps the pellagra away.
Generic brand. Y'all mother racist. All right. So, January 2023. Oh, no, actually, I forgot this. The ex-San Francisco fire commissioner, by the way, was attacked by a homeless man with a crowbar. Just to give you an idea as far as just San Francisco. Here we have a clip. There's no sound. You can start running it. This is the ex-San Francisco fire commissioner, which, used to be there was kind of an unwritten rule. Don't go after the fight. You pull to the side of the road when the fire truck's going down. This guy went a different direction.
Okay, bye.
No.
And the state of California went from a $100 billion surplus to a $22 billion deficit.
Well, that's a rounding error.
The tours, the states that Newsom toured, Alabama, record surplus. Arkansas, record surplus. Mississippi, record surplus. Florida, record surplus.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, California's losing that tax windfall.
But it's just funny. He's going then to say, do it like us. Do it like us with the crime and the deficit. Do it like us where people are leaving in mass numbers. Do it like us. They're going, well, I don't know. We're doing fine. I don't know what you have going on there. Yeah. We're pretty good here.
If you go to Sacramento and you say to them the homeless problem is a drug and mental illness problem, they will kick you out.
They'll lock you up.
It's a housing issue. It's an inequality issue. That's what's really going on.
It's not crime.
No.
It's poverty.
Yeah.
It's not homelessness. It's fat and beautiful. I don't know. I don't even understand the lexicon anymore.
So they open up their homes
white man's fault?
Yes.
They open up their homes to help them? They let them in their San Francisco.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
No, they open
yeah.
your home.
Make some space in that spare guest room.
Yeah, well, for crying out, I don't know if there's a spare guest room. We saw those bitches. They need a junior suite to themselves.
Sausalito loft. Have a few homeless in, right?
That's it.
I saw Pacific Heights. So
good
call.
The San Francisco Chronicle also reported that San Francisco has more drug users than high school students.
What?
They have more drug users than high school students. By the way, also outnumbering high school students, piles of human shit in the streets, just to be clear. Yeah. Luckily, though, you can use, here's the thing, rather than San Francisco, this is a good example of what he plans for the Red State Tour, right? We need to bring back Latinx. Okay, rather than saying, hey, if you have kids, by the way, they shouldn't, if there's a PG-13, rather than saying, hey, that's a pile of human shit. Well, maybe we should clean up this human shit, guys. Okay, just a thought. And then we should look to which policies led to human. Wow, I'm surrounded by human shit. Maybe we need to change the policy. There's one, and there's human shit everywhere. That would be what most people would do. Instead, San Francisco, California, instead they rely on an app where you can track the piles of human shit.
Yeah, that's right.
Here's a nice piece of shit.
Yes.
That's a real thing?
Yeah, after they eat Whole Foods, they shit on the street.
Somebody's going to flip that app for hundreds of millions of dollars to a big tech
exactly. Yeah.
Yes. Ugh, gosh. Okay, I don't know what was that. Was there anything else?
You're into.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Population loss: 500,000 residents. Right between Los Angeles and largely San Francisco, Los Angeles, not San Diego as much, but between the years 2020 to 2022, they lost 500,000 residents. Again, the trend line matters. Rome fell at one point in time. The Ottomans fell at one point in time, right? You can look at any empire that's ever existed, and if you, at the tail end, saying, yeah, but look how big we are. Yeah, okay. Right now, it's very clear the trend line in California is bad on everything. What do I mean by that? It's bad as far as crime. It's bad economically. We've gone from a surplus to a deficit. It's bad as far as population loss. It's bad as far as markers of education. It's bad as far as life expectancy. There is nothing going on in California right now compared to California 20 years ago, 30, that is better. And this is a question, too, that we always ask because I want you to leave these shows with some kinds of solutions. So on a policy level, sure, I can say this, but on a personal level, if you find yourself in a rut, and I mean this because California is in a rut. If you find yourself in a rut, you find yourself miserable, you find yourself waking up every day going, I got to do. Let me ask you. You clearly have been making, a rut is created typically from habitual decisions, right? A rut means something that is continuous. It's something that feels never ending. That's why you have to make different decisions. So if you find yourself at this place like California is worse in every facet that you can measure, objective, right? Things that can be quantified. If you find yourself in a rut, it's a very simple question to ask yourself. Have the habitual decisions that you have been making, which have led to, have any of them made your life better? Second question, will any of them prove to make your life better? The answer is undoubtedly no. You need to do it differently. California, sweetheart, you need to get your shit together and off the street and do it differently. Don't go to the rest of the country to lecture them when they're doing it absolutely right. This is what we're talking about with California. This is what...
Pops Crowder, what the hell are you doing here?
Oh, boy. Here we go.
Fourth chair duties, I guess.
Well, how do you feel about infanticide?
What?
What?
It's weird.
I got a suggestion. Aim left.
Okay, that doesn't seem like...
That's
enough. Too old. You're so old they carbon dated you to Cretaceous.
Why do we have chat GP?
I don't know. This is...
Okay, I'm done with you, boring goofball.
That's mean.
All right.
Brian, back to you, dum-dum. I saw you in the Joker for about 6 seconds.
Okay.
I hope you enjoyed the high watermark, kid. It's all downhill from here.
Yeah, I got cut out.
To be fair, it was the best 6 seconds of the movie for me.
Thank you.
I got a snack.
This is not something you should pay for in the App
Why don't
Store.
you tell everyone the name of the character you played?
Yeah, Brian, what was it?
I played a stripper.
I'll help you out. Ha-ha stripper.
Okay.
Oh.
Must be Irish.
Yeah, that's...
So, Brian, you're in the martial arts, huh?
Yeah, I do some...
You like martial arts? Very nice.
Yeah.
Take your best shot.
Yeah, I'll take my best.
No, Brian, don't.
Brian, I don't think it's worth it.
No.
It's an AI.
I'm a computer, you dum-dum.
All right, look, can we uninstall, unplug something right now, please?
Oh, nice try, Gerald. I've heard better comebacks from my grandson's speaking spell.
Well, that's pretty funny, I guess.
Why don't you go accidentally take more steroids and stop bothering everybody?
What are you even talking about?
You take steroids?
No.
Chris Benoit yourself, dumball.
But just come on.
That's dark, man. That's very dark.
So's your milkman. Have you seen how high his kid jumps?
What does that mean? What is he talking about?
What? Huh? He says, huh? What? He has such a stutter this clown could run for president. How are you with sniffing kids?
That's actually
All right.
pretty funny.
Yeah,
that's what
I don't sniff.
Yeah. Did you like that? You like that when I make fun of your friend?
I was just laughing earlier with the president sniffing kids line.
Yeah.
You know what else is funny? Your patchy beard. What, are you hiding your chin because you think it's where you keep all your talent? You could have worked with a soul patch.
It's not bad. Hey, chat, GPT Rickles, that's enough, okay? That this is getting a little crazy.
Look
We're
who's
trying to
standing
do
up for his friends. That's nice. I guess he has to when his fighter buddy's not around. Tell you what, Brian. Why don't you try fighting for your right to be funny?
Oh, come on.
He is really not.
funny.
That's come on. Brian's a funny guy.
Legit.
Has he sexually assaulted you yet?
Oh, come on, man. That's a low blow. That's ridiculous.
It's enough.
That's enough.
No.
All right?
What's wrong with him?
No, there's something wrong with you. I don't even know why we have ChatGPT Rickles on the. This is what happens with ChatGPT, and it takes over. The AI is absolutely taking over. I don't know what are you doing there, Toolman Tim? Is your TriCaster going? Did ChatGPT Rickles take over your TriCaster?
Yeah, he's going nuts over
So everything about California is bad. It's wrong. And by the way, we are about to go to. Of course, Mug Club. It's free this month, so if you're watching on YouTube, go to Rumble. And, of course, you can subscribe at LiveWithCrowder.com.
There you go.
/Mug Club. If you want to watch the Friday show, Brian Callen, you can go to briancallen.com. You can go check out his tour dates. But we're going to be taking your best. You've actually issued some submissions. We've done some tests with ChatGPT and things that might surprise you. Asking questions, again, regarding AI. It's the programming that's a problem. How biased and how far left ChatGPT is. We're doing that segment because some of the answers and questions absolutely could not be here on YouTube, and we'll be taking your submissions right now. Head on over to Rumble. We have another full half of the show. YouTube, you can piss off.